I'm here about just about an hour now. So
Okay,
not
just
that
about an
long.
hour? Okay.
Yeah.
What were the lines like last night?
I wasn't here last night, so I heard there weren't that long. There were only like 10 or 11 people most of the night, and a friend of mine got here about 6 or so, and he was like 25th or 26th, so there weren't that many people until we started the shop. We were here since about 7, and there's probably about 50 or 60 people behind us now, so we're probably about 100, 150 somewhere in there.
Your name, please?
Matthew Nell.
And how do you spell your last name?
Knell.
Okay, Matthew's M-A-T-T?
H-E-W.
Okay.
Yep.
And what do you think about the iPad in general?
I think it's a good device. I think it sort of offers the opportunity to mix, music and movies and books and a lot of other things in sort of a good personal size package. So I think it sort of does a lot of things that laptops do kind of well, and sort of really has the opportunity to change the way we consume media. So I think it's sort of exciting in that way.
What about, how does it compare to the, say, iPhone and the other devices that you see in the market today?
Well, I have an iPhone, and I think the great, iPhone is great for being ultra portable, and obviously offers you that level of personal communications, but having a bigger screen, and not having it too obnoxious, finding the space between a laptop and an iPhone offers you the opportunity to do some really fun stuff, like MLB's new iPad app is great. Watching Netflix on a screen that's 9 inches when you're holding it like this is a pretty good experience. So I think, finding the size is really why it's sort of a nice, interesting device.
What do you plan, which one are you going to buy, and what do you plan to do with it?
I'm probably going to buy the 32 gig, sort of in the middle, because it's sort of a good price point. And
the $599 one?
Yeah, $599, and a lot of it will probably be like consuming media and just putting my iTunes library on it, listening, watching movies and stuff. But also I teach, and so bringing that to the classroom to do some very basic productivity stuff, taking attendance, being able to check email, that sort of stuff is probably where it's going to be for me. So it's a good sized device for taking around and doing things where I want to have a full experience. And it's only £1.50, so it fits right in my bag.
Are you actually a professional teacher, like actual teacher?
Yeah, I teach at NYU.
Oh, cool. And the general cost of carrying textbooks is crazy, right? $2,000 or something like that.
Yeah, it's incredible. I think it's going to be. I've heard of a lot of universities offering this as part of their inbound classes, which is great because I think having the ability to have all these textbooks in a really easy to carry thing will be nice in terms of being able to produce them more quickly, because obviously content changes a lot, but also keeping the students in my college days, I know I carried around, and I'm sure we all did, carried around lots of really heavy textbooks that we didn't really need to carry. So from that sort of perspective, I think it's a really, really strong device. It'll do really well in education, I think.
Will you buy the update, iPod 2, or are you going to wait for 2 years?
I'm on a 2-year cycle with my iPhone right now. So I bought the first one, and then I bought the second one, and I've been waiting. Oh, thank you. I've been waiting, for the third one to come out, which will probably be out in the summertime. So I'll probably get that. So probably be iPad 1.35 if it comes down to it. But if iPad's good and the software updates are good, really no reason to buy another one. So,
any thoughts about being called a fanboy?
It's kind of ironic because I'm sure anybody that watches this is going to give me a lot of guff about complaining for the last month about how I think the iPad probably wasn't worth it, and here I am being interviewed about the iPad. But I think,
you won't include the bad parts, don't worry about it.
No, I think, being a fanboy isn't a bad thing. I think, in terms of society, being a geek used to be a bad thing, and I think being a geek is a lot more cool than it used to be. And I think, people have accepted technology and culture, and I think Apple's been done a really good job of integrating the two into a good brand. So I think, having the opportunity to have cool technology products that allow you to do your job and be cool at the same time is sort of the reason that people are attracted to a brand like Apple. So I don't think it's a bad thing.
NYU, does this comply with NYU's plans to bring in iPads or anything like that?
I don't know. I teach at their continuing ed school, so I'm not quite sure, but I would imagine it might. I'm sure they'd probably consider it. I think, NYU tends to be pretty good with their technology and being reasonably innovative, so.
In a way, as a teacher, you can drive that adoption in many different ways.
Absolutely. Well, the minute I'm going to bring this into my classroom the first time, I'm going to get a lot of, what's that? It's an iPad. Ooh, this is kind of cool.
Yeah, it's going to last a few classes, I guess.
I think people online are going to end up being the people who do the demos and basically drive the real adoption. You have a lot of tech blogs and a lot of people who talk a lot about the device, but until you have your friend having one, or you have a friend of a friend who shows you one, you're not going to be hooked until you've held one. So I think you'll see a pretty big second wave too as people start to spread these out and show them to their friends and colleagues and whatever.
What happens to Amazon as a result?
Well, I think it's ironic that Amazon released the Kindle app and Apple allowed them to do that. So I think Apple Amazon's sort of playing the both ends of the same table, because obviously they have their standalone Kindle. There's obviously going to be a pretty large market of people that will buy Kindle books and read them on their iPhone, because right now the iBook store isn't that big, and Amazon has a lot more titles. So I don't think Amazon's in any real trouble, because their business isn't Apple's business. Their business is more focused, I think, in terms of at least electronic media.
All right. Well, thank you very